Good morning, and welcome to the Media Speaks Live Saturday morning news show. I'm DLAKE for Prez, David Lake of themediaspeaks.com. I am joined this morning by Sam I.B. DeGangi. Sam.
Greetings, unsettled souls. Welcome to the Saturday edition.
Great to have you on, Sam.
Great to be.
Doesn't look like you're in your normal environment, though, there, Sam. What's going on?
Oh, it's summertime once again. You know what? She's got such good deals. Now you said it. She is not a sponsor of the show, but hats off to Seacrest Motel. Got a beautiful little motel. I ain't going to move the computer, but for anybody watching, $45 when you go to Cedar Point up here. So come see the Seacrest Motel.
It looks pretty cool. It looks like a little cabin.
It is.
Speaking of new and exciting environments, we're also joined by Kyle Phillips of themediaspeaks.com. Kyle, how's it going?
Oh, wonderful, D-Lake. How are you doing? Glad to be back on. Sorry I was gone last week. I was moving into a new studio, as you can see.
Yeah, a new studio in your new house, huh? How exciting is that?
Pretty fancy. I am now as much of a property owner as the federal government will allow me to be.
And do you want to take a second to maybe highlight some of the stuff in your new little studio area there that we're looking at?
Sure. Thanks. Well, as you can see, the camera's a little bit further back, got a little bit of extra room. I put up the a few InfoWars, the Media Speaks stickers. I got the front page of the newspaper from the day Kennedy died, and then a present from a good friend of the show, Bo.
Mm-hmm.
My sound effects. There we go. The poster from the trial of Billy Jack.
Billy Jack.
I don't know. What do you guys think? You think the new studio looks pretty dope?
I was so happy when you busted out with Billy Jack. I mentioned off air when you said that a month ago. I couldn't believe it. My dad and I used to watch that.
Looks like you got a little more elbow room there too, Kyle.
A little bit more elbow room. You can see the second monitor in the background. I like the new office quite a bit. And this is the one part. I mean, when you move into a new house, I have this philosophy of women pick out furniture, men move it into the house. You know, women pick out the paint color, the men put it on the walls. And so, you know, Megan has been completely in control, which I've given her that control. This is this color, this goes here, this goes here. But the one thing is this office. She goes, that's your office. I'm like, okay, that's my office. That's all I need.
Yeah. Well, that's great. That sounds like a good compromise there, Kyle. And that's great, Kyle. You're good with the women, unlike Elliot Rodgers.
Who is Elliot Rodgers? I don't know that.
Elliot Rodgers is the young gentleman who last night rocked the Santa Barbara, California area, UCSB, in a drive-by shooting rampage that killed 7 people. This frightening YouTube video may be the manifesto of Santa Barbara mass slayer. Kyle, the local newspaper, the Santa Barbara Independent, is reporting that the Santa Barbara Sheriff Department is reviewing as evidence a YouTube video in which 22-year-old Elliot Rodger declares his intention to slay residents of Isla Vista, the college neighborhood adjacent to Santa Barbara. This is a graphic video, and I'm going to play just a little bit here for you guys. Let me see what's going on.
So this guy doesn't have a specific target, just the college students.
Well, let me set this up here, Kyle, and why don't you speculate for a second, and then I'll play some.
All right. Well, I mean, I could almost understand that because I lived in a college town, and if this guy's a townie, not understanding obviously the fact that he wants to kill people, but if you've ever lived in a college town, and D-Lake, I think you live close to a college too, people in the towns hate the college kids. They hate them because they bring crime, they bring partying, they rent.
I as a DJ don't really mind it so much. Granted, some of the crowds can be a pain in the neck, but for the most part, that's always been what keeps the clubs going. And I know I'm a little older, and I know some other people are older, and we've gone to clubs our whole life. There's a certain core of us that are like that. But I mean, as a whole. A lot of times when everything else in the economy is garbage, they're the ones, you know, going to restaurants. Because they've got grant money, whatever. They're the ones, parent money. They're going wherever. As long as they're not into, you know, like the thug culture or wanting to see how many asses they can kick in one night, I don't really have a problem with them.
I see your point because as much as the townies hated the college kids in DeKalb at NIU, when they really did, I have to admit the economy around that school is booming, and I will say that it's booming because those kids are putting themselves in debt, but it is good for the town. I mean, that town, bars weren't going out of business, you know, stores weren't shutting their doors. You walk down Main Street, downtown in DeKalb, Lincoln Highway.
Well, see, we have smaller colleges, so yeah, we only have a few clubs and bars and that around here, but they do help when they come. But anyway, I've sidetracked everybody terribly.
No, but you're right, because before we get to the video, a little bit of a sidetrack, but when you go down Lincoln Highway, where the downtown of DeKalb, all those storefronts are open. There's businesses in there. You go 2-3 towns over, and you see 4 lease signs every third window. So you have a point. DLAKE, are you ready with that video?
Yeah, and you guys didn't. You touched on it a little bit, but what if one of those problems in that college area is you're just not really very successful with the ladies, which seems like might be what's going on here. I'm going to play a little bit, and then we'll comment.
It's not fair. You girls have never been attracted to me.
Uh-oh.
I don't know why you girls aren't attracted to me, but I will punish you all for it. A crime. Because I don't know what you don't see in me. I'm the perfect guy. And yet you throw yourselves at all these obnoxious men instead of me, the supreme gentleman.
Oh.
Punish all of you for it.
I don't think it's real.
Introducing a car company. It's never made a single car.
Thanks, ads, not by this site. Go ahead, Sam.
I don't think it's real. It sounds like he's it's either a parody video or it's something that he was shooting for something else. I don't think it's real.
Seems way over the top. I can't imagine this kid, like the person who did it, actually. Like,
it seems more like bad acting. Yeah, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, I agree. It looks like somebody trying to act like the character who would do that. That doesn't look real to me. It's only got 301 views. DLAKE, are you falling for a?
Yeah, some technical difficulties here. Hard to say. I just got the tip this morning to check out this video. It does seem kind of like acting. This guy seems a little bit weird to me, definitely. Yeah.
Looks like you got muted out. Yeah.
Yeah, let me play just a little bit more. Hold on. Sorry, guys. My internet's being weird. Here we go. And he's smiling, and
on the day of Retribution,
he's really creepy. The day of Retribution.
I am going to enter the hottest sorority house of UCSB. And I will slaughter every single spoiled, stuck-up, blonde slut I see inside there.
Wait a second. How do you know they're sluts?
All those girls that I've desired so much.
Well, D-Like, I know, pause. I can tell you why. You know the difference between a slut and a bitch, right?
A slut will
sleep with everyone, but a bitch will sleep with everyone but you.
Good point, Sam.
Valid point. I mean, I doubt that that's the guy. It seems like acting. It seems like bad community college acting, and I would know because I've been in a community college play. But I don't know. Kind of interesting video that he's going to go in. You know, I was asking, Megan had a ton of her friends over the other day, and we were sitting around, and a few of her friends have boyfriends. Some of them are single, and I said, what do you really look for in a guy? And they said, well, you know, the answer they all gave me was, I like a guy who's going to call me a slut and shoot me and all of my friends because we won't have sex with him. That was the top answer.
Always, yeah. It always rates up there highly.
Yeah, that's what women are looking for. They're looking at a guy who's going to take he's going to take matters into his own.
Being the ultimate gentleman.
Yeah. I mean, the guy is supreme, however he put it.
That's very interesting.
So
Sam,
what was the shooting that took place, D-Like? What happened?
Apparently it was a drive-by shooting.
He did do it?
He said he was going to go inside the sororities in that video, and he'll punish everyone.
Oh, he did do it.
What's the date on that video?
He wasn't acting.
Yesterday.
He really did it.
I don't know. The shootings happened yesterday. 7 dead in mass murder drive-by shootings near UC Santa Barbara. Officials confirmed 9 crime scenes across Isla Vista. It's a small area near the water there in Santa Barbara, but no shots were fired on the university's campus.
He wasn't acting. That was real. Oh my God, that's even more pathetic.
A gunman in a black BMW opened fire on crowds of people Friday night in a Southern California seaside town near UC Santa Barbara, killing 6 people and injuring 7 others in what investigators describe as a mass murder rampage. The gunman was later involved in at least one shootout with sheriff's deputies and died of a gunshot wound to the head. He killed himself. Gunshot wound to the head. Maybe the cops got him. Santa Barbara County Sheriff Bill Brown said it at a Saturday morning news conference. He could not confirm whether the gunshot was self-inflicted. 7 victims were hospitalized, and at least one of them underwent surgery for life-threatening injuries, Brown said. Details regarding the other victims' conditions were not immediately available. Witnesses who spoke with NBC4 identified the gunman as Elliot Rodger. Sheriff's Department personnel, and that's the guy who it says was in that video. Sheriff Department personnel are investigating a video that we just watched in which a man identified as Rodger details plans for retribution and revenge against humanity and kill those blonde-haired sluts prior to the shooting.
Legit video.
What's that?
So that video is legit then. I mean...
Yeah, I mean, my friend hit me up this morning and said, did you hear about it? Did you see this? He said he watched the video. Go check it out. I checked it out. Does it look like he's in a black BMW here? It looks like he's inside Knight Rider.
I mean, I don't really know what the inside of a BMW looks like. I'm not
we wish we all knew.
Yeah.
But see, that, for one thing, I mean, if that's all the traffic he's got afterwards, people think that he's just as pathetic in death as they did in life.
That wasn't the original upload, though. That was from some smaller news organization.
I got you.
Who re-uploaded it. But
yeah, upon my search, it looked like there was several cloned copies from wherever it originated.
What a rotten person.
And he says at the beginning that, okay, this is my last video, everybody. I don't know what other videos he might have had prior to that.
Maybe he's a failed YouTuber who just can't get the ladies. What happened to the days where, if you asked out the sorority girl and she was way too hot and clearly out of your league and she said no, that you would just fucking, bow your head and go ask out her fat friend? What happened to those days, DLAKE? Now you go and you shoot up the sorority over it?
I mean, how many dates could you have went on, or how many of those life lesson, how to pick up girls things could you have attended for the cost of the guns and the bullets used to murder everybody and yourself and get yourself killed?
This is kind of like the same thing and everybody's got this friend who says, oh, fucking corporations suck and blah blah blah, and I hate all these companies. Everybody just fires me for things that are out of my control and blah. And it's like, well, I'm not getting fired every day. Don't get me wrong, corporations suck, but maybe if you're getting fired from every job that you get within 3 months, maybe you suck at work. Maybe you need to work on yourself instead of blaming the companies who are firing you one after another. In the same way that if you can't get a girlfriend and no girl wants to give you the time of day, one, maybe you're swinging for a pitcher that's way out of your league, and 2, maybe girls don't like guys who say that they're supreme to everybody, and maybe the problem is the way that you are approaching them in the bar. Maybe you shouldn't walk into a bar, scout it out as a guy who he looked like he's probably 5'2", maybe a $110, 110 pounds. Maybe you shouldn't be scouting the bar, finding the hottest girl in the entire place, walking up to her as your Asperger's self. Hi, you should date me. And she's like, get the fuck out of here. Maybe you should date somebody within your own league. Go to a fucking Magic the Gathering club and pick out chicks. Loser.
Oh, what are you talking about? He's a supreme gentleman.
Yeah, clearly.
Kyle, thanks for letting me get that out. I guess that was breaking news this morning. And did you have anything in the headline news here, Kyle?
I haven't really been watching the news too much with moving into the house and stuff. I've been listening to a few podcasts here and there, trying to get to some news. There was something a few weeks ago. La 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 la. Getting my radio voice back, you know. There was a thing. Did you hear about this thing? Adam Protest was talking about it. I don't think we talked about it on the show. With the New York NYPD did this Twitter thing where they wanted people to tweet at NYPD pictures of them interacting with the police in like a nice and wonderful way.
I saw this and loved it.
Thanks, Kyle. Thanks, Kyle. We covered it last week. Thanks for watching the show.
I watched like half of it. You guys did talk about that?
Yeah, NYPD #fail. Yeah. Good stuff.
That was hilarious.
They wanted everyone to post happy pictures posing with the NYPD.
They got something else, didn't they?
It turned into a collage of just pictures of NYPD being assholes.
Yeah.
That was awesome. I'm glad that you guys covered it then while I was gone.
Yeah, for sure. We've been trying to hold down the fort. Kyle, anything else you've seen recently?
I'm trying to think. Anything that I've really seen popping up in the news.
Well, let's go. Let's branch off to Sam, who I know probably has a bunch of bookmarks open and maybe some science news. Sam, what do you have?
Well, before we go to the science, I've got the no end in sight for the surveillance state. A curt Nemo on this one. It says the version that emerged from... now, keep in mind, yesterday I heard that Justin Amish, who was like a hero to me, Justin Amish, who proposed this bill, actually has, since this article's been written, voted against it. So when I get to the part that says watered down, it was watered down so much, viewers, that the person who wrote it is now saying he wants nothing to do with it. It's been destroyed. The version that emerged from the Rules Committee is substantially different than the version approved by the House Judiciary and Intelligence Committee 2 weeks ago. The watered down, I would say greatly, and weakened version is the result of the Obama administration leaning on House leaders behind closed doors. It says that the U.S. Freedom Act had previously passed through 2 committees before being secretly watered down behind closed doors. Notes Arnie Stepanovich, Senior Policy Counsel at Access, a digital rights organization. The version we fear could now be negotiated in secret and introduced on the House floor may not move us toward the NSA reform. Basically, everything that the government promised that they were going to do about stopping spying on the American people has been watered down or taken out of this bill. Again, so much so that Justin Amish himself has voted against it. And I thought that was definitely worth bringing to light, because I don't think a lot of people have realized that the bill that everybody is so excited, including myself, that was so excited to hear that was moving forward, looks like it's being utterly destroyed for us.
Well, have you heard, this kind of ties in, have you heard about this whole thing going on with the accusations against members of the Chinese government for spying on United States corporations? And isn't it kind of funny how they think it's completely okay for them to spy on every American? They think it's okay for them to spy on leaders of every other country, but when China does it to us, it's a big deal, and we have to put sanctions on China over this. Let's put sanctions on the U.S. government against its own people. Jesus Christ.
Well, I mean, I think it's important. I've been trying to mention this a lot on my show, that just because leaders like Obama and some of the people that we have in office here, Nancy Pelosi, whatever, just because they're atrocious leaders, I think I try to shy away from saying, I can see why Putin's doing this. No, Putin is also a pretty crappy leader. China, definitely crappy leadership. And I want to make sure, I found a lot of this, I don't think it's on purpose, but I found a lot of this in the libertarian mindset that, well, good, now Americans getting theirs. No, that's the wrong way to look at this. Just because other countries are doing it, for one, we claim to be better. Second of all, we can't justify the same thing being done to us when it can't be justified to begin with. And I worry about that a lot.
So I see your point, is that just because, we shouldn't look at this as it's okay that China's doing this just because the United States is doing it. We should look at it as both of us have asshole governments.
Exactly. And I've been seeing so many comments and comment lines on news sites and things like that that I just have been like, it's making me crazy.
Guys, you see this headline here on my screen share: Russia and China banking deal and their 30-year gas line deal is to exclude the U.S. dollar in transactions, a symbolic blow to the dollar. Bigger attacks on the dollar are scheduled for this summer. During Putin's two-day visit in Shanghai, Russia and China took another small step to undermine U.S. monetary hegemony when Russia's second biggest financial institution, VTB, signed a deal with the Bank of China to bypass the U.S. dollar and pay each other in domestic currencies. What is that, yen and rubles or something like that? Many experts are referring to the move as symbolic. The banking deal is very small in the scheme of things. However, it is a signal of intent. Both China and Russia are looking to a future where the U.S. dollar is no longer the world reserve currency, and they aren't content to wait for that future to arrive. They're working to help it along. And how do you guys feel about that?
Isn't it always wonderful to see China and Russia doing things specifically for the intent of excluding the United States? Doesn't that make you feel safe?
like doing shots? I don't see Obama there doing a shot.
What is that shot of? That's what I want to know.
Human blood.
Well, I mean, it's either vodka or sake, right? It's not going to be Jack Daniels.
I think it's a sake vodka bomber. Yeah.
Sake vodka bomb. That sounds delicious.
Yeah, doesn't that sound good?
Well, I mean, all this stuff, the United States is really heading itself up against Russia, which, again, Sam did make a good point that this doesn't mean that Russia is awesome by any means. They got their issues too. But we're really heading up against them, especially with this shit in the Ukraine, which is the equivalent of if Russia was up on the U.S. border in Mexico telling them how to do business with us. We would be pretty pissed. And then we're going after China with these allegations of spying, even though, I mean, the entire world has to be laughing their fucking pants off as of right now. Like, really, America? Really? You're accusing people of spying? You? That's like the guy, you know, in high school that everybody knows, like, fucking put your iPhone in your pocket or whatever, put your Game Boy in your backpack because this guy's going to fucking steal it the second you turn around, accusing somebody of stealing something out of his locker, you know? Like, really? So we're heading up against these two formidable allies to each other, and they're starting to gang up against us. That's a war that we're going to fucking lose, and we're going to lose bad.
Well, see, I had to jump out because to get these headphones on, I had to reset the screen. Okay. I am the only person who's feeling this way. I'm not all that unhappy about this because this is going to force us out of the very new world order system that most of us don't want to be involved in anyway. I've heard that Russia may stop selling us uranium. Good. Maybe we'll start drilling again. Maybe we'll have a few less nuclear power plants. They say that they want to stop selling the U.S. precious metals. Well, good, because maybe that'll mean those of us that have been buying precious metals, like we've been preaching about forever, will quit having our damn price held down, like Barclays just got nailed for yesterday. You've got a nightmare with them now, the currency thing. Good, let America become self-sufficient again. Let us quit waiting on our hands and knees for every other country and do things ourselves. I mean,
I have to agree with you, Sam, and I think that we could do this ourselves very easily, and this is an idea that I've been playing with a lot. DLAKE and Sam, give me 3 or 4 of, like, the biggest issues that our country faces right now, and don't say gay marriage. That doesn't count. That's not even... What are, like, 3 or 4 of the big issues that we face right now that people are worried about? Like wages, right? Wages
health insurance.
Wages in the economy could be lumped into one.
Unemployment.
Our foreign policy, arming terrorists, unemployment and domestic policy.
I'm going with
warfare, welfare state. Sam, what do you got?
Health insurance, the collapse of the euro and how it's ultimately going to affect us, and I'm going to go with untested food, and I'm going to say that you guys already know, but for other listeners, because I think we're about to get a really nasty cancer wake-up call in this country due to Fukushima, and it's listed as one. It's listed as one of the worst to me, not because it's going to affect the highest number of people, but because it's going to affect so many more people than think that it will.
Okay, so one thing that we could do that is constitutionally allowed to the federal government, it's one of the few things in the Constitution the federal government is given the right to do, raise import tariffs. Raise the fuck out of import tariffs. That would solve 90% of those issues that we went over. All right, it's not going to solve Fukushima. It's not going to solve problems with GMO foods. But you raise the import tariff, it forces companies to bring jobs back home because it prices imported goods out of the market, right? So they would have to bring manufacturing back to this country. We could have another industrial revolution. With all those jobs coming back into the country, they would be forced to raise wages because there would be more of a demand for labor. They would need us as much as we need them, as opposed to what we've had for the last 20 years, which is we need them, and they're gracious to give us fucking minimum wage. So they would need us for the jobs. You'd see an increase in pay. You'd see a revaluing of the dollar. You'd see people going back to work in this country using more of our own natural resources instead of importing them. How many of those problems did we just solve by simply saying, we're going to raise the import tariff by 100%, we're doubling? Done. Am I crazy? Done. It's done.
I like the idea. I've said for a long time that we needed to do that. And I've had people say, well, then you're definitely not a libertarian because you want there to be all these taxes. You can't have that mindset when you're dealing with currencies in other countries that are legalizing things like communism that is making them work for $10 a day.
Well, people need to understand that there's really two big branches of libertarianism. There's the anarcho-capitalist, which is like Adam Kokesh, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking shit on anarcho-capitalists, but I am not an anarcho-capitalist. And they believe that the government should be completely thrown away. It should be, we shouldn't have a government at all. We should all interact voluntarily on an individual basis. And then there's what they call the minarchist constitutionalist libertarian, which that's what I am. I mean, I think that's kind of what you guys are down the same line too, which believes in getting things back to the restrictions placed on the federal government by the Constitution.
Yeah, in some instances I would lead a little more to the other one, but yes, very much so. Out of the two, I would say yes.
Yeah, it's not like a set in stone thing. There are very many things that I think we need to amend the Constitution to be more
But the idea that you could put us on an even playing field with China when they treat their workforce the way that they do, you need to have monster taxes to protect the economy in your own country on imports and exports. Of course you do.
Well, exactly, because otherwise we're all going to be competing with China. And exactly, how do you compete with China? Well, slave class.
See, it doesn't bother Christelle because one of her favorite foods is white rice. So when she has to work for like all day for a bowl of it, she'll be delighted. But that's only her.
That's my porn name, white rice. That reminds me, D-Lake and Sam, have you heard about this? I forget his name, what state he's from. I think he's from Washington. He's a senator who came out and said, like, look, my state has 70% government jobs and everybody does great and communism works. Have you heard about this?
Yeah, and he's trying to get away
who
from
eats his own
statement now. He's doing his damnedest to get away from that.
That's like the funniest statement ever. When everybody works for the government.
He's saying he was making fun of Republicans, but he wasn't saying what it sounded like he said. Oh.
So it was like he was trying to make a really bad analogy. He pulled a what's his name, Bundy.
It's the same guy that was eating his earwax last week. Yes.
Yeah, that's right.
Earwax eating guy. Which I mean, fuck, I pick my nose and eat it when nobody's looking. I'm not gonna lie about it. I mean, I'm not gonna hold that against the guy. Eat your earwax. There's weirder things.
It's going to be on TMZ, Hot Mic, Kyle picking his nose and eating his boogers.
I mean...
It does happen. It's true.
Let he who has not picked his nose and ate it be the first, cast the first stone. I think Jesus said that. I mean...
Okay, guys. Hey, I invited Don from Save America's Liberty to join us. It looks like he's coming in. Go ahead and take your mic off mute there, Don, and welcome to the show. Don from Save America's Liberty, are you there, sir?
Yeah, how you guys doing?
Hey, doing good, Don. Hey, it's my bad that the Q&A wasn't set up properly. I didn't realize that you had to set it up before you started, actually broadcasting and setting up your link. After last week's debacle, tried to stay on top of what was going on. I saw you were looking to get in. Did you have anything to say about what we've already been talking about? Anything that you wanted to get into? Don, what do you have?
Yeah, the minimum wage thing. I'll tell you the truth. Even businesses are struggling today because of the regulations permitting.
Well, small businesses.
Yeah, it's killing them. And I'll tell you that $10 an hour for a guy that just starts and doesn't. Most companies lose money when they're training people.
Absolutely.
A lot of people don't get that. And there's workers' compensation. There's unemployment benefits. It just goes on and on and on. And people just don't see it. Somebody say $8 an hour guy actually costs about $12 an hour.
More than that, depending on the field. But I agree with you, but the problem is that for a small business owner, let's say you have, a fast food chain right next door to a mom and pop burger and hot dog place, right? The burger and hot dog place has to follow all the same regulations as the fucking McDonald's next door to it. So where you have to have a business license, you have to have a food service license, you have to have a tax accountant who handles all your tax shit and makes sure you're all legal. You need to have a payroll accountant, somebody in charge of payroll. You have to have somebody in charge of HR. You have to have insurance. You have to have a million different things, which for McDonald's, who has, however many 100,000 fucking stores, you hire one person for each of those jobs for every 500 stores, for every district. That's not a very big expenditure because you have the capital and you have the base to build that on. Hiring one extra person to be in charge of your HR for 500 stores not really costing you that much, as opposed to the mom and pop burger hot dog place. What you have now is one or two owners who are trying to do all of those things at once, and they're going to have to hire a few things of those out, and they're going to pay the same amount. They're paying that person $100,000 a year, where to McDonald's they're paying the same amount, $100,000 a year, but that person's in charge of 500 stores. It's a fucking drop in the bucket. So McDonald's could easily pay $20 an hour to where the mom and pop shop can't, because they have to deal with the same regulations McDonald's does, and guess who set up that regulation is McDonald's, because they understand that it's a drop in the bucket for them, and they understand that to the mom and pop shop, it's barriers to entry. How many people do you know who have had a great idea? Adam Kokesh talks about this all the time. Somebody has a great idea. I know somebody who was talking about they wanted to do a fast food delivery, Taco Bell, McDonald's, Wendy's, whatever. You call him, he orders the food, he brings it to your house, he charges you a percentage on top of what it costs. That's a great idea. A lot of people would use that service. Oh, but then he's got to get this license and that license, and he's got to do this and this and this, to where gave up on it. Gave up. Too many regulations.
And I'll tell you, that was the deciding factor in me at the age of about 19 leaving the Republican Party for the Libertarian Party. That entire thing that Kyle just said is the basis for the switch. The other stuff I learned about later, that right there was the basis for my switch. I never looked back.
Because Republicans are okay with that. They think that sounds great.
Yeah, well, and I also think, and Kyle and I have mentioned this, the day of the $1 cheeseburger, maybe it should be over, because that's what you get. You have to pay people more money, because you can't. I was talking about this on Mark Dice's comment line. There is no upwards mobility. There is no opportunity in America. You end up stuck at jobs because everything else has been sent away to other countries. So, you're going to have to pay people a lot more money to make your cheeseburger, because every other job they were supposed to have, you sent away.
Yeah, we have in town, we have a place, and they don't sponsor us or anything, but there's a restaurant called Tommy's. Tommy's Red Hots. They got hot dogs and burgers and slices of pizza, and it's actually not that bad. I mean, you get on price. I mean, you get a big ass slice of pizza, a thing of fries, and a drink, and it's like $6. That's not bad, and I try and go to them as much as I can over fast food because, one, it's better, real ingredients. It's not fucking plastic inside of it or whatever goes into McDonald's chicken nuggets, and it's a small company. I think there's like 4 or 5 of them in the area. It's like I'd rather support them than fuck McDonald's. Who goes?
No, I'll tell you.
Yeah, my girlfriend and I drive up here and pass a whole bunch of little towns. There's one little city called Newark that has a whole bunch of mom and pop places in it. But on almost every other city, it's all Pizza Hut, Domino's, Wendy's. There are no little places.
Yeah, Don, you were about to say something?
Yeah, the way it works right now is I'm paying 37.5% on my profits. But after you look at everything, you know, just like I got a rig, semi-truck, just to keep it legal. Just to keep it legal with the fuel permits and the license and the insurance is about $5,000 a year. You know, and fuel is $4.20 a gallon in a 5-mile gallon truck. I mean, they just got everything so screwed up. I don't know how anybody could start a business today. I'm lucky I started years and years ago, but I'll tell you, I've been making less money over the last 3 years than I've ever made in my life.
Oh yeah, check this out.
Don, do you have a waiver from Obamacare like McDonald's does? I'm sorry, Kyle. Go ahead.
Yeah, just while we're talking about taxes and regulation, as we said at the beginning of the show, I just bought a house. My mortgage payment is just under around $300 a month, but when they include my taxes, it's almost $700.
Yeah.
My taxes are more than my fucking mortgage. I mean,
that is awful.
This is going on everywhere, man. They've got the system built up to take every penny a regular guy makes.
Yeah,
just to live.
That's the way it's set up. I mean, when you really look at how much you pay in taxes, if you're making, say, $350 a week, after taxes and everything said and done, you're only taking home maybe $270, $280, and then on top of that, where they just took a huge percentage of your money, now you're paying between 6 and 10%, depending on where you live in the country, just in sales tax. So right there, what are you at? They're taking like 30% of your money. If you own a home, they're taking another. However much, depending on how much they value your property at, that's at least a few $1,000s a year that they're taking out of your paycheck. If you own a car, you have to pay an extra tax on your gasoline, which doesn't make any sense with the price of gas right now. And then you have to pay for registration. You have to pay for mandatory insurance. You have to pay for your fucking emissions test. You have to pay for all this other shit. But when it's all said and done, you're really only taking home about 25% of your real income. And I think that's a very liberal number. All of your money is going to government in one way or another.
Yep, absolutely. It's just like my fuel permits and I pay taxes on the fuel that I'm already using. And I buy a lot of fuel, you know what I mean? Probably $200 or $300 a day. And then my accountant says, "Oh, here's a bill," and she hands it to me, and it's another $550 for road taxes. It never ends, man.
Now, can you write any of that off as an expense?
The thing is yeah, but there's still profit at the end that's big enough to I mean, I don't do real bad, but it's nothing like I used to make.
Have you seen, since you're talking about rigs and driving trucks, have you seen in DLAKE, maybe you can pull this up for me, these new trucks that Wal-Mart has come out with? I hate Wal-Mart, and I hate that I even have to say their name on our show. But they have these new semi-trucks they came out with that look super futury. It looks like some shit out of Logan's Run. Have you seen these things?
I heard that they're actually battery operated.
Are they?
Yeah,
I didn't read too much into them. There it is on DLAKE's screen.
Yeah, here we go.
It looks like a sports car underneath. Like, it looks like a sports car under a rig, right?
Yeah, totally. Hey, you guys like how fast I pull stuff up? Hey,
Yeah.
does this thing drive itself with Google, or it looks like it has a steering wheel?
I'll tell you my
Whoa, look at this interior.
My problem with Walmart and places like that, I have no problem with the business getting really big. I'm a big business guy. I think it's good that they take their money and then they buy government officials to keep other people from getting to where they're at. Now that's where I have a problem with it.
See, I have a problem with the structure of a corporation. I truly feel that if it wasn't for government allowing the idea of a corporation, because a corporation is a government institution. Without the government saying, this is okay and you can do this, it wouldn't really exist in a truly free market, I don't feel. And I feel without corporate law and without corporate ability, companies wouldn't have the ability to get as big as Walmart. I don't think that would happen. I think they would get to a reasonable level. You gonna say something, Sam?
The other thing they do that I absolutely hate is and I didn't know about this until a number of years ago. Let's say they go to RCA and you buy something from RCA from another store and it lasts forever. You buy it at RCA. Oh, that does look like a spaceship. You buy it from RCA from Walmart and it dies in a year. Well, let's say they double solder a certain chipboard when you buy it from another store. They have to sell it at such a low rate in order for Walmart to take it that maybe that model doesn't get double soldered. And, that's kind of a layman's term version, but they cut corners all the way around. And soon what you've got is a piece of trash. And not only does that hurt the consumer, but, I mean, to some degree it's got to hurt RCA, because then you start thinking, well, I'm never going to buy an RCA again. That thing was trash. It's destroying the quality, the workmanship of the devices that they're selling.
You're absolutely right, because I actually know somebody who they made spices and stuff, right? They made like taco mixes and like enchilada sauce mixes, where you buy the packet and you add, milk or water, boil it, and you make your sauce. And their company was getting really, really big. And they wanted to get into, I think they had just gotten into Costco on a regional level, so they were in like a few Costco stores and they were doing a test run of it. And they were trying to get into Walmart and Sam's Club, which is the same company. Never thought about that, the name. Okay, but they were trying to get into Walmart, and pretty much what Walmart told them is like, you need to cut your cost to this much. And with the cost of production where it was, they were literally making, at the cost Walmart said they wanted to buy it for, they would make no money. They would be breaking even just to get it into the stores. So what do? You cut costs somewhere so that you can at least make a fucking nickel per packet or whatever it is. And the Walmart made it so hard that your only option was to cut some corner. I mean, if you're running a good business and you get to the point where you can offer and be in the conversation with Walmart to get your products on their shelves, you're obviously a pretty good business person. You obviously know what you're doing. And if you know what you're doing, and if you're a good business person, you're not expending any more money than you absolutely have to. So when Walmart comes to you and says, well, we need it cheaper than that, you have to cut a corner. You don't have a choice. And so, yeah, that's why you get shit products in Walmart. That's why, I
hate that store.
Yeah, you buy and it's not even a joke, you buy a TV, and or like a computer. If you buy a Toshiba computer from Walmart, whatever model it is that they sell at Walmart, because Walmart doesn't keep all the stock like Best Buy or anybody else, they'll only have one or two options for you. Those two options are guaranteed to be the shittiest quality laptops of any of whatever brand it is, where you could go to the same brand, buy one at Best Buy for an extra $100 and get a great product. They cheapen the shit out for Walmart, and everybody does.
I had a guy tell me something, and he's right. Name one thing that you don't do or touch that isn't regulated or taxed.
My penis. Done. Your friends and I'm just kidding. That was a joke.
I'm sure you. I'm positive you're regulated too.
I probably am. There's probably I have to have a
Kyle,
when you think about it, you take a shit, you pay for the freaking water. Then the taxes, they've got taxes on the water, and see what I'm saying? The air you breathe has regulations on it. This shit just never ends, man.
Yeah, that lotion's not free, Kyle. Hey, speaking of Walmart technology, whatever happened to their windmill project?
It just looks like a giant camera.
Yeah, they're giant Walmart windmills that they were going to have everywhere. I don't know. When I look at that new truck, I'm like, okay, when I start seeing them on the road, maybe then I'll be like, oh, wow.
Didn't you say you did, Kyle?
No, I haven't seen one. I read about it on the internet. I haven't actually seen one. If I saw that shit, I'd be like, holy shit, it's Logan's Run. It's the future. Where's your...
Yeah, it's pretty freaky.
That's the second time you've named a really cool movie that I don't think anybody knows but me.
So Walmart's expanding into energy now.
Yeah, they have been trying to for a little while.
So we're going to start buying our power from Walmart too.
Yeah, they're going to take over the electricity companies as well. They'll take over everything.
Eventually, Don, you're going to live in a Walmart-issued apartment that's on top of a Walmart building where you work. You're going to get your energy from the windmills on top of Walmart. There is going to be a creek that runs by the back of Walmart on Walmart property. And you will never actually leave Walmart property. If you try and smoke some weed, all of a sudden there's going to be Walmart weed sensors in your Walmart apartment alerting them, and they're going to, take a fine out of your paycheck. You're going to be eating at the Walmart Subway franchise inside of the Walmart for breakfast, lunch, and dinner before you go back to use your Walmart water to take a Walmart shower and sleep in your Walmart bed. Just enough to not kill yourself before you go back to work at Walmart.
That was like a very DLAKE inspired rant. You did great.
There is examples of what you're talking about. If you remember back in the early 1900s, the way coal mines used to be ran.
Absolutely, and railroads.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were the coal mine towns where you would live. There would be an entire town centered around a coal mine. The movie October Sky, which is inspired by the book Rocket Boys, which I actually read, is about one of these towns. Where if you're a bachelor, they have like a little apartment complex where all the bachelors live. Everybody's got a house that's literally centered around the mine, and your house is based size and distance from the mine based on how much they need you.
And it's all mine property. They pay you with mine dollars that you spend at the mining store.
Yeah.
It's insane.
The difference is that these mining towns, as much as it was a similar structure, the people actually did pretty well for themselves. They actually paid them fair, and the people were allowed luxuries and extra money. They were able to do things.
Some mining companies.
True, not all of them. But some of them, white picket fence houses, everybody had a car, but different companies. There's always people doing it differently.
Gentlemen, real quick, on my screen share right now, ladies and gentlemen, living in Walmart parking lot. Lots of people, you can park your RV there overnight, struggling families. This guy, my wife left me. Damn it, we live at Walmart now.
Meet the nomads.
Oh no, there's my wife right there. We live in this camper, we live in this car, we live at Walmart. We sleep in the Walmart tents, we cook food in the Walmart parking lot. We sunbathe.
Well, hey, it is better. You know what? That is better than hearing that Walmart threw somebody out who didn't have a house, which is what I would have normally expected. So that
just so you guys are aware, your local Walmart, and I'm sure everyone on this panel right now has a local Walmart because they're everywhere. Just so you guys are aware that they double as FEMA camps.
I mean, I have to agree with Sam that I would expect that Walmart would kick these people out. I'm amazed they haven't.
I have a little more respect for them. I mean, since there's no place else for them to go.
They have not a lot more respect. They have an overnight parking policy at Walmart. You guys didn't know that? Yeah. In my area, there's like 6 of them, so I could just live at a different Walmart every day of the week in their parking lot. Cheaper than your house, Kyle. I'm doing it.
It's pathetic. This is what it's came to.
Jesus Christ, DLAKE, you can live in my garage if it comes to that. If it comes to you living in a Walmart, just drive your car up to Illinois.
No, this is me right here.
Those things are actually pretty dope. I've been thinking about building a bug-out camper. Am I crazy? Am I a crazy person? I've been thinking about buying...
That's actually a pretty good idea.
I've always wanted a camper. We were talking about that today as well. I have a van. Well, it's in our movie Becoming Paul Revere, and I mean it's got like a little bed in the back now, and we could pull it out for shows and stuff. But yeah, I mean we use it like a little camper. If we actually had a camper, oh, it'd be heaven. Yes.
Well, I was reading in this survival magazine about people just taking like a trailer, like a trailer that you'd see like a lawn company keeping their lawnmowers in or whatever, and building a structure on top of it with a little wood-burning stove, a little cabinet and stuff to keep, powdered and dried storable foods. Put a little bed in there, and the great thing about this is that I've seen people do it for offices too. Is that you don't have to follow structure regulations because it's technically not a structure. It's still a trailer. And that's how RVs get. You can pretty much build an RV however the fuck you want, and there's very little regulation around it. So I've seen
a pond in there.
Yeah, I've seen people building these trailers into bug out houses to where when shit hits the fan and you gotta bug out, you just fucking hook up the hitch and you get the fuck out of town.
We're actually, me and my brother, we have a shipping container, a 20-foot shipping container, and I own a roll-off truck, if you know what that is. It rolls the big dumpsters off on the ground.
Okay.
And we're going to build the shipping container to where we can roll it on the truck and take it.
That's not the other idea I would have for you is take that shipping container and bury it in your fucking backyard.
I already have a couple of those.
Oh, nice. So we were talking about earlier, and Don, maybe everybody can go through. We were talking about the difference between anarcho-capitalist libertarians, minarchist constitutional libertarians. What would you consider yourself if you had to put a label on yourself, Don? Are you a libertarian, conservative, Tea Partier, minarchist, anarchist, capitalist?
I would.
Zionist.
I'm an anti-Zionist. I like capitalism to a point, but I lean more libertarian than anything.
So you'd be like a minarchist libertarian, minarchist constitutionalist.
I mean, how else are you supposed to trade and buy and sell without capitalism?
Yeah,
there has to be some capitalism.
I'm in the same boat that I believe in a free market, except for there are certain places that the market needs to be regulated, and that's a place where I disagree with a lot of libertarians who are more anarchist capitalists. Is like, anarchist capitalists. There are problems with it, in my opinion. I mean, everything can't be voluntary because voluntary can become involuntary. What if somebody buys all the property around your property and fences you in? There's no voluntary, non-aggressive way to deal with that. So I believe that the regulations put in place on the federal government and what they are allowed to do according to the Constitution is just enough. It's simple things like import tariffs to protect us from a slave class economy of a different nation.
Yeah, we should have the smallest.
We don't want survival of the fittest sort of libertarianism.
Yeah, we should have the smallest government possible.
Well, I don't know. I don't have a problem with survival of the fittest as long as it's not survival of the fittest and everybody he can enslave. I mean, what would you consider yourself, Sam, if you had to label yourself?
I've always said libertarian. When you actually mention the two kinds, I would probably be less anarcho-libertarian, only because while I think the police force should easily be stripped greatly, both in number and ability, reach, I should say. I don't want to live in a survival of the fittest world either, which, I mean, other than that, I'd almost be an anarchist. I've always called myself common sense anarchist for anybody that, has wondered. I've always just said common sense anarchist. Meaning, I don't want everybody just to be allowed to shoot anybody they want to, whenever they want to, or that sort of thing.
A lot of anarchists kind of make it where there's no either or, because that would make you a very extreme level minarchist, a very minimalist minarchist, because you still want something there to be some sort of rule of law, but generally. And that's where I'm at, is for the most part, swing your fist as far as you can without hitting another man's nose. Do whatever the fuck you want. The government should only be there to protect this country, and I mean that in a military and economic way.
Right. And Kyle, I mean, I don't really appreciate you trying to put labels on everybody, but I would consider myself to be an isolationist for the United States of America. In other words, I believe our border should be bigger than the Wall of China, and I'll take Wal-Marts and all their building parts to build the wall. Like, I'll take down a Wal-Mart to help build the border fence.
Take out all the Wal-Marts and just kind of bulldoze them towards the edges, make giant
Wal-Mart towards the edge. No problem with that. Easier said than done. But
well, and let me say really quickly,
but especially an isolationist when it comes to foreign aid or any money leaving our country to go to terrorists and propping up extremists and terrorists in other countries. That money should be spent right here in the United States of America, bring all our jobs home, bring all our military boys home, and isolate. I'm serious. No one talks like that anymore, but we need to isolate ourselves. I don't want to deal with Canada. I don't want to deal with Mexico. I don't want to deal with the Middle East. Fuck China. Fuck Russia. USA. All the way. Nothing but us. And we'll make all our money off exports because everyone will want our amazing, great shit.
Giant fiberglass dome over the country.
Hell yeah.
And I see what you're saying. I don't like to put labels on people, but I asked that question because, you know, MSNBC and Fox News both like to tell you that they're fair and balanced and in the middle and nonpartisan or whatever, and it's like, give me a fucking break. I like to be honest. We're all very libertarian people with slightly different libertarian views. There's a lot of different variations of libertarianism, but I want us to be honest. I want people to know that when they watch this show, guess what? We're watching a show with a ton of libertarians. We're not going to sit here and tell you we're fair and balanced and we're right down the center, and no, we're libertarians.
Hey, speaking of right down the center, check this out. You had one job!
What is that? I'm not even sure what I'm looking at. Is that?
I don't know. When you start looking up living at Walmart, all kinds of crazy pictures come up.
Oh man, good old Walmart. I went into Walmart the other day. Sadly, I just really needed something like that minute moving into the house. First time I've been in a Walmart in quite a few months. It's like, God.
Well, the KY jelly got expensive there, didn't it?
Kyle, did you wear the new biometric mask that makes everyone look like the same guy? Sam.
That one guy?
I love that guy. He is awesome.
Yeah.
I want to say, too, I said it before, I absolutely called this one. I have talked about that we were going to be going in a direction of masks forever. And lo and behold, bam, there, I could not believe it. It was like call number 3 for me on this one. I was very, very happy.
Do you remember in what was it, in Total Recall, when he's got like the fat lady mask and he's like, here's my ticket, and then they're like, they ask him a different question. He's just like, here's my ticket. You remember that part? Like,
yeah, and then he pulls it off all crazy.
Yeah, that's what it reminds.
Kyle, did you see this new anti-surveillance mask? I'm pretty sure you did.
I did, yeah. It's interesting.
There he is. Everyone's gonna look like that guy. But what about the eyes? Can't they detect the eyes are different? What if it's a black guy under here or something? They need to make a black guy mask.
Yeah, it's racist. I need a black guy mask.
It's totally racist.
I don't know. Well, I mean,
no, but the funny thing is, the funny thing is, the first time I saw this, it reminded me of the story where there was like 3 black guys that bought Hollywood production quality. I'm getting sound from the website.
Hello.
There's these 3 black guys robbed a like a money cashing place, like a dollar store, using the same method that they got from the Ben Affleck movie, The Town. 3 black guys put on white guy masks, similar to what we're looking at here, where they all looked like white guys. They dressed as security guards. They robbed the place, and they would have got away with it, except for they were tipped off by the special effects company in Hollywood where they purchased the masks. Those guys tipped off the cops. Yeah, go ahead, Kyle.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I mean, again, if anybody wants to check out the 520 episode of the Correct Views, I mentioned it on there that this is exactly the kind of thing we need to see more of, simply because it shows that a growing number of people who are on the smarter end of the spectrum are more and more coming on our side, which is nothing but good. I think I froze. Hello? I did freeze.
No, you're good, Sam.
There it is. Good, good, good. All right, now I can hear everything again. No, and you always hear that it's always, you only feel this way because you don't think there should be any laws, or you only feel this way because you have an agenda. No, you don't want people going through every aspect of everything that you have, and I'm very happy that people are doing things like this. You're back, Kyle?
I'm back. What were you guys talking about? I heard you talking about people thinking that you just don't want laws. I assume you're
still praising the Mr. Mask guy there.
No, that guy was pretty cool, and I wonder how much they got like a Kickstarter going. I don't think that they have that final mask available. It's the software and then like the paper printout one, which I don't want. People see you walking down the street with a paper printout mask, they're gonna be like, "What's wrong with you? What are you doing?" I want that really cool one that you could be walking down the street and people like might not even notice you. Like that looks like something from Minority Report.
It's pathetic that the system we're under is forcing people into stuff like that.
I know it really is pathetic, but I'm glad that we at least live in a country free enough that somebody can make that. It's kind of, you know, two sides of the coin. We still have enough freedom left and preserved that somebody can go out and make that, but it's sad, I agree with you, that somebody even has to make that to begin with. And that guy's going to sell a lot of those, and I think it's going to be hilarious when all of a sudden all these crimes are being committed and shit, and, you know, mostly non-violent, victimless crimes, like people getting caught on red light cameras all over the country, and it's going to come back that it was him. That'd be so funny. It's a ballsy move, I think.
It is. He does it all the time. It's to prove a point, because obviously he'll have an alibi for everything.
Oh yeah, he's probably got to be tracking himself constantly to prove where he is. But think about it. Maybe this guy's a genius. Maybe he's planning on robbing a bank, and then it'll be like, somebody probably bought one of my masks.
Yeah, man. All he needs is a good alibi somewhere else and hide for a couple days.
Genius.
Damn it, my internet's screwing up. Oh, here we go.
Good old Google Plus.
Yeah, just so once again people don't think I just make stuff up on the Media Speaks, as this responds. Okay, it brings up the picture of Kanye and Kim Kardashian before the actual article. Loading. Internet not responding. Oh, great. What a wonderful news show I got going here. Anyways, I just wanted to point out that I wasn't making up that story. Black robbers used $2,000 white masks in robbery.
Those are really expensive. How much money could you get that you're willing to spend $2,000 just on a mask?
I think they got away with $30,000 each.
There's not very much money in a bank.
Yeah, there really isn't. That's what I'm saying.
It was at a Payomatic.
I mean, you're not going to go in and hit them for no $250,000. It's just not going to happen. They don't keep that kind of cash on hand.
Okay, here we go, finally. Can you guys see this? They use these, look, this is pretty good. That's a Hollywood prosthetic mask.
Is that a black dude?
Black robbers use $2,000 white masks to fool victims in $200,000 town-style stick-up, prosecutors say.
That looks like a job or something.
See, this black guy put on the white guy mask, and they dressed as security guards. A crafty trio of black robbers bought amazingly lifelike disguises from a Hollywood special effects firm to transform themselves into white guys for a brazen Queens heist, and their get-ups were so good, their victims had no clue they were in masks. But pretty cool. They ended up getting... I've read this before. They ended up getting caught because within roughly 3 minutes, the thieves raided a safe and a cash drawer, a total of $200,000.
Wow.
Wait.
They're like, well,
The major break in the case came after police discovered an email from Byam, one of the guys, to CFX, offering a hearty endorsement after the robbery, according to police. So he basically bought the masks by saying there'll be more money after we use the masks.
Wouldn't it be funny if, like, they're interviewing the, you know, the bank teller, and they're like, well, he really looked like a white guy, but he said, put the money in the bag, I'm not going to axe you again.
That's racist.
That is. It's a little bit racist. It's not racist, I'm sorry. Like, you can say axe. They do. Not all of them. The kind that rob banks. That's fair, right? Is that fair? We just got the Media Speaks banned. We just got shunned.
All right, guys, I'm going to drop off. Thanks for inviting me for a little while.
Of course.
There was a lull in the show. All right, Don, thanks for coming in, man. I'm glad I sent you the link. You had some good stuff. Hey, do you want to close with any promotion of your YouTube channel, Don? Go ahead.
I'm Don. I run Save America's Liberty. Come and leave me some hate mail.
I will.
Oh, I gotta cut grass, man.
I did that this morning with my brand new fancy mower. Have fun. All right. Well, I think we're about to the entertainment section. What do you think?
Well, no, we haven't done any science.
Oh, we gotta do some science, yeah.
Sam, you had that science news link. Let's get to it.
There's no. I guess there isn't any theme music today. All right. This is from LongIsland.com. Astronomers discover a second sun. Christina eye chart. It looks like Abaticola. An international team of researchers led by astronomer Ivan Ramirez at the University of Texas in Austin has discovered what is being referred to as the sun's, quote, long-lost brother. The star, identified as HD 162826, is believed to have been born of the same cluster as our own sun, and there's a link for that, and is made of the same chemicals. It says, according to astronomers, stars born of different clusters bear different chemical compositions, which means that finding two stars of identical compositions, as is the case for our sun and its newly discovered sibling, indicates a shared origin. In the case of the sun, barium and yttrium have been identified as the key distinguishing elements. A bit more, it says it's 15% more massive than our sun, and it would have emerged from the same gas cloud roughly 4.5 billion years ago, and is located 110 light years away from the Hercules constellation. Researchers are hopeful that the methods used to find this first sibling will be helpful in finding other stars born of the same cluster. It says it was born of a cluster with 1,000 or 100,000 stars. It says a lot of things can happen in that amount of time. The member stars have broken off. And the reason that matters is it goes on in the articles to say if it was throwing off the building blocks for life, then, and again, whether you're Christian or non-Christian, it's rather interesting that so many religions talk about the life being spread, or some definitions exploded over the universe. Some people say that's what it translates to, and some say it's not. But this article is saying it is possible that it blasted the building blocks of life, at least from a certain cluster of stars, and we're one of that cluster. So now we have some idea where in space we can at least find the same cluster. So that's why that's rather important. And lastly, USA Today, I just saw this before I went on. It's real quick. Detroit, her life spans 3 centuries. Friday, Julian Talley will hit a milestone. She will turn 115, making her the oldest person in America, second oldest person in the world. That's 116 in Japan. She was fishing. She's been bowling up to the age of 104, still gets around with a walker, and complains only that her knees hurts and minor memory issues. So that's insane. So happy birthday to Julian.
Imagine that, 115. That means she was born in, what, 1899?
Yes, exactly.
Can you imagine living from 1899? That means that you were 20 years old in 1919, right? So I'm 25. So that means you would have been my age in 1924. No airplanes, no cell phones, no
heat.
No air conditioning, no refrigerator. You got an ice box and shit, and then fucking blast through to the end of your life. And you know, there's probably somebody. They were talking about this when what's his name, Mickey, the guy from the old actor who died this year. Mickey Rooney died like a month ago.
Yeah,
like
a little while ago.
Somebody probably told this lady recently, I forget, I think it was on Adam Carolla they were talking about, like, somebody probably told this lady within the past year or so that she needs to get a Twitter, you know? Like, can you imagine going from steam engines to Twitter?
That is
nutty. Like,
it's a long time.
It's crazy. I can't even, like, can you imagine if you lived to be 115, the crazy shit that you're going to see.
This movie that I watched last night, Terms and Conditions May Apply, all about, like, you select that you agree to the terms and conditions of websites like Google and Facebook and stuff. They had Ray Kurzweil on there, and he's always holding a phone, holding his iPhone, and he's like, before, you had to pick up this big thing on a cord at your house. Now you have it in your pocket, and pretty soon it'll just be in your brain. And what will be so wrong with that?
Was he twitching and touching his eye?
Like, and then it'll be inside your brain.
Ray Kurzweil, like, he's a really smart dude. I don't deny that, but just like he creeps me out. Like, he seems like the type of dude that if you were talking to him, you'd be like, "There's something wrong with this guy. Is he a serial killer or what's going on?" Like, he's really twitchy.
He's like Elliot Rodger there at the beginning of today's show, like sitting in his car, like, I never got laid. Those bitches didn't like me. I'm gonna go on tomorrow is Retribution Day, and I'm gonna shoot up everybody at Google.
Maybe that's why Ray Kurzweil is like so hardcore into technology. He's waiting for the day when he can get some robot vaccine. You know what I mean?
Well, I hope there no SWAT teams coming to my house because of the mixture of the keywords that we used on today's broadcast, guys. I think it's been a good show. Kyle, Sam, did you guys have any entertainment news? Have you seen anything good recently?
I do want to say...
Have you seen my interview with E.T. Williams on Thursday? Because that's pretty good and entertaining. Everyone
no, but that is entertaining. I do want to see...
Welcome to the War. E.T. Williams, Doctor of Common Sense, DLAKE had him on the show. And I did have one thing in my notes today, guys, and now's a good time to throw it in. Doing what we do and getting our show out there, we've had some super amazing freaking guests. I mean, who do you want to name? Tyrell Ventura, Brian Sumner, Antonio Beeler.
Jim Gray, me and Sam have both interviewed.
Courtney Driver, Steve Grant, PTP wants to come on. And you know what? If you guys put your tentacles out there and apply yourself and ask these people that, you might be like, oh, man, that guy's huge. How am I ever going to get him on? Well, why don't you talk to him a little bit? Why don't you make friends? And why don't you communicate? And put your feelers out there and have big, awesome guests on your show like we do. Come on.
And anybody out there who's trying to get started and just looking for somebody to come on your show, any of us guys would love to come on anybody else's show. We've gone out.
Invite us on, man.
We've been on Dawn's Diorama and Dark
Space Buns or somebody on YouTube wants to have us on their chat.
Let's do it.
Right?
I mean, we're all willing. If you just get one of us or all of us, I don't expect you to invite 4 people to your show all at once. That might get chaotic. We might take it over and turn whatever your show is into just TMS Live.
And just like Don from Save America's Liberty, he's like an active viewer and follower. I mean, today he's like, hey, DLAKE, you messed up and forgot to set up the Q&A, but I'm on YouTube, and I'm all, oh, there you are. Here, let me message you the link. Come on to the show. Let's hear about what you're talking about. He led us in a lot of cool directions today. So, I mean, I just want to put it out there that we're still going on Saturdays. We're still going strong, kicking ass. And it's not hard to get good guests and have good shows. Sam.
I was going to say on the, as far as entertainment front, as a couple new CDs and stuff I've been playing a lot lately, one of which I want to shout out to is the new Thurkill called Spooky Tricks. Is excellent. From beginning to end, it's excellent. For anybody who was a fan of their heavier, less dancey, disco-y stuff, more of the Crow soundtrack.
Who are you talking about?
My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult. A lot of people know them as Sex on Wheels, or the band that's on stage in The Crow when the place is getting shot up.
Okay, that's where you got me.
Their new CD is excellent. The new V&V Nation, I wanted to shout it out. I actually put a little bit of thought into the entertainment closing. It's, for fans of V&V Nation, they went a little too much in that slow direction that they go in. Their slow stuff is always good. It's a little overdone. But Retaliate and Atmospheric are amazing tracks on that CD. The latter being instrumental, which is odd for them. And I also wanted to give a shout out to the new Arch Enemy CD. They picked up another singer. I forget the band she was with, and it was on the tip of my tongue. But they're as powerful as they were before. It's very, very good. So for those of you that like the really heavy stuff, the new Arch Enemy CD is wicked.
Sam, you know what you need to do? You need to save up some money and you need to buy a haunted house. DLAKE, could you imagine Sam being any happier than if he owned and operated a haunted house?
I would love to own and operate a haunted house. My living room has
Sam owning and operating a haunted house?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
This is what Sam's into right here. My Life with the Thrill Kill Cult, Sex on Wheels. Is this what you like, Sam?
That's one of the older ones, but I like, if you could go, that was from Cool World, so they look very cartoony in that because of the movie that it was for.
Is that actually old, or is that meant to look old?
It's really old, but in the movie they were supposed to, there was cartoon people that were becoming real people. Go to, let me think of something, Days of Swine and Roses. Much better track if you've never heard the Third Kill Cult before.
Okay, I don't see it right here, but go ahead, guys, while I look it up.
I do seem to remember the scene you're talking about in The Crow.
That's another. After the Flash is another great song for them.
I'm sure DLAKE will find it and get it all set up so we can listen to it a little bit, or at least see a little bit of the video.
You want to hear some?
Why not?
Rocking out this song. Hey! Woo!
Pretty.
Now they'll say that we have content on our things, and now we won't be able to monetize it. No, they actually, for anybody that listens, I shared some of their videos on my site, and they thanked me for doing it. I got to open for them when they toured Canton. I got to DJ for them 2 nights in a row. It was really cool. They're good people.
That's pretty cool.
Kyle, what'd you have in entertainment?
Not much, to be honest. I haven't been really watching anything. I've been
mowing the lawn. That's your entertainment this week?
I've been mowing the lawn. I got a new mower, a new edger. I've been setting up this tight new office. Before we started moving, I think I said it on the show that, like, you know, everybody has like their one guilty pleasure of like some stupid ass TV show. Like, I'm sure, like everybody's got like one reality TV show or something that for some reason they love. And I've watched like every episode of Sister Wives. And so that's what I've watched. Sister Wives is about a polygamist, fundamentalist Mormon family. This dude's got 4 wives and like fucking 18 kids. I don't know. It's entertaining. I look at it from like a libertarian perspective.
I know what you're talking about now.
They seem like a healthy, happy family.
Mormon polygamist family called Sisters Wives. There's just a bunch of wives, and they're like, we all love him. He is so good to us.
Well, he is, and here's the thing: is like the wives all seem super happy. He has like very good, open relationships with all of them, where he talks to them, they communicate. All the kids seem to be like really normal kids. None of the kids have any like serious problems. They all get.
Do they do their Mormon prayer circle on the show?
They have once or twice. And I mean, I look at it like kind of like, I mean, all right, so all the kids are normal, all the people are normal. Nobody's being forced to be there against their will. It's all voluntary interaction. Like, fuck, good for them, you know. Like, I don't know. I look at it as like a libertarian, like a piece of libertarian ideology of like, well, why should that be illegal? I don't want to be a polygamist. I mean, a lot of guys look at it like, oh yeah, you get to like fuck a ton of different chicks. Like, no, you get to put up with 4 different wives bullshit. Like, one is like, and don't get me wrong, I'm not like ragging on women or anything, but like that's kind of part of being a man is like you have to like put up with the woman's stuff. Like, there's no way to say this where like feminists aren't gonna hate me, but like, you know, women are a lot more emotional. Like they react to some things differently than men. Like, I mean, as simple as something like when we were painting the house, like my girlfriend, oh, should we do this color, this color, this color? And she's like freaking out over different colors of paint, and I'm like, whatever you want, you know, whatever you want to do. We can do paint samples. Just you have to guide them through it a little bit. So they get emotional about stuff. Imagine that times 4. Fuck that. But if they're happy and all the kids are doing well and nobody's being forced to be there, hey, be a fucking polygamist.
I'm actually, it's odd. Not completely sure that the Bible is against polygamy.
No,
I know that people point to Christ said you were made one man and one woman, but you could also, I mean, and I don't know what he meant. It could have very well meant, it's like, all right, well, guys, you know what? It was meant for us 3 to do this show. Well, what, that means the 4th person that came to see us, we didn't include them? No, that's not what we meant. We were just speaking. It wasn't, we were made one man and one woman, meaning men and women together.
I looked up biblical reasons for polygamy when I started getting into this show, and I can't remember the exact quotes, but there's a lot of things in the Bible, specifically the Old Testament.
Yeah, and I'm not really sure on the question, and I know that's sacrilege to most Christians, but I'm not really sure on that question.
It's not, though. If you look in the Old Testament, there's multiple parts about having multiple wives. Like, I believe that Abraham had more than one wife.
Yeah, and David got in trouble for stealing Uriah's wife, not for having more than one wife.
Not for him, yeah.
He sent Uriah out to be butchered and then stole his wife. So that's oftentimes used to say that polygamy was the sin. It wasn't. It was getting your friends murdered and stealing his wife.
Yeah, which, I mean, the downside of it, which from all this stuff, I was looking through a ton of quotes about polygamy and marriage and monogamy and stuff in the Bible, and there are some things in the Old Testament where it almost kind of looks at women more as property, but I mean, you can, you know, take what you will from the Bible. It also says, you know, not to wear 2 different types of cloth at the same time. You have to take it in perspective of modern.
Yeah, the Bible's like, never wear these 2 colors together. Did they have fashion tips in there? I didn't know that.
Biblical fashion tips. No, look it up, like biblical or Bible wearing of 2 cloths or wearing of multiple cloths. There's some verse that says it's like a hell-worthy trespass, but I look at it as...
It says no shoes, no service?
Yeah.
No shirt, no shoes, no service?
But I mean, I don't know, and I know Sam might have a few different, a little bit of a different view of it than me, but I look at the Bible as a really good book of teachings that I don't think it's really meant to be taken literally. It was written by the hand of man, and man's always going to put his fucking spin on it. There's a lot of sex.
I think it's made to be taken literally, but again, I think some things are not. Sometimes people are not understanding what literal is. A good one that comes to mind is you will be permitted to handle deadly serpents and nothing you eat or drink will kill you. That's because he was sending people out miles and miles over terrain, and it was very, very common that you would get bad water or bitten by something. He gave those specific people immunity from those specific things while they did a specific thing. Not go to a church and kiss the cobra. That is not what he said. The other one that comes to mind, they told Gabriel, who was the one that blew the wall down in the Old Testament? It wasn't Gabriel. No, Michael's an angel too. But anyway, he blew and the wall of Jericho fell down. That was an instruction given to him. If somebody else was to take a horn and blow it in front of a wall because God said to do it, everybody would know that they meant it for one person. But somehow we take these things that are said and think that they're universal. I'm not even sure that the ask anything in my name and ye shall receive it necessarily applies to us. It may have applied to the people he was speaking to. And I know there are Christians that would want to stone me for saying that. but I'm not sure that. I mean, I think it is what it says, but I think people are broadening what it says to a huge degree.
Hey guys.
Yeah.
Hey Kyle, sorry. I have one more thing in entertainment. I posted this video.
Oh yeah, I watched this.
Did you watch this? Yeah, a lot of people did. It got a lot of traction. I'm gonna put it on with the sound here. Sam, I don't know if you saw this, but what you were just saying reminded me of it. So here we go.
For those listening to the podcast,
Sam? Oh yeah, I'll turn the sound down.
Yeah, for those watching this or listening on the podcast, it's one of those like old Mexican style roofs that look like sun chips, and like as they pull each piece off, just like tons of fucking bats are flying out. Which that's where bats go. Like I'm surprised this went viral because this I think is pretty common.
I can't see it.
There's like every time they pull up one of these clay tiles from the roof, just like fucking tons of bats are flying out. I mean that's where bats live though. That's really common.
We're on my screen share here.
Yeah.
I'm worried about these guys though because of the guano, but
it's not that big of a.
And bats can have rabies too, I heard. But
I used to deal with getting bats.
Look how Sam. Every time this guy lifts up one of these tin roof plates, watch how many bats fly out. If you
that
can
is
see
kind of cool.
It's crazy.
See that?
That is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, pretty crazy. Whoa!
I got to pet a bat once. It just laid there and let me do it. I was very shocked. I took a huge chance on that one, but luckily it didn't bite.
There's like one part on here where there's I think it's under these ones over here. There's like one bat. I don't know. I zeroed in on this one bat that just like stood there for like longer than all the other bats. Like, wait, where are we going? What is going on? It's just like the one bat. It was like the comedy bat. It was like the Finding Nemo bat or some shit.
What's going on here?
He's like, Dad, where's my dad go?
The one bat that wants a suntan.
Okay. Great show today. Great show today, guys. Kyle, why don't you go ahead and let everyone know where they can find you and where they can find us.
Well, thank you, DLAKE, for having me on the show today. I hope everybody likes my new fancy office.
Yeah.
Well, what's the first obvious thing you're going to do? Go to themediaspeaks.com, find Sam Beganji on YouTube at Correct Views, find me, The Media is Here, David Lake, type in his name, David Lake, scroll past the guy playing guitar, click on his face and stuff, might be a picture of Ron Paul, not sure. Anthony Court, he's on here today, but you can find him at Constant Injustice, or you can find all of our collaborations of the work of, I think, everything for the past, year or two, on The Media Speaks .com on YouTube. If you type in The Media Speaks on YouTube, themediaspeaks.com, the website, you can find us on Twitter, at The Media
Kyle, man, we've been on a roll, man. I think we're going on 2-3 years now.
Yeah, we're at about, this Media Speaks has been up, I think we're at about 3 years now, yeah.
Media Speaks is, I think it's over 2 years already. Or, I don't know, I mean, we all got in separately, but then we all joined up like a Wu-Tang and Voltron. It's been awesome and amazing. We've been on a roll for 2 years now. Come on.
Yeah, it's been about 2 years that we've all been on it.
Indeed.
All those places on Facebook, The Media Speaks. Search us, hit like, all those places. So like us, subscribe, share all of our shit because that's how we get more clicks. The more clicks we get, the better we do. The more we can push forward and keep bringing you information.
Yes,
all right,
yes.
Great. Sam, where can people find you, The Correct Views, and all that? Give it up.
Sure thing. YouTube.com/thecorrectviews. Also, of course, on The Media Speaks, posting videos, usually Monday and Wednesday. That sometimes changes. Also, Sam from Passing Time. You can find Passing Time Band. Look up the Alexandrian Solution. There's a whole bunch of live videos and studio work. Let me know you found us, and you can also thecorrectviews@hotmail.com. Get a hold of me there, and it'd be very helpful.
And go to the Arcadia Grill and read some Mike McLaughlin, or what?
Indeed, always in that order. Yes, you can read while you're eating. You'll be delighted.
All right, everybody, and I'm DLAKE for Prez, David Lake of The Media Speaks. Please check out my super special interview with guest E.T. Williams, the Doctor of Common Sense, that came out this week. I thought it was really good. It's pretty funny, and some good, interesting stuff that we touched on. And so happy to be a part of today's Saturday show. You know, I kind of had to set up the show, I kind of messed it up, and I kind of redeemed myself when I brought Dawn into the show. Thought it was a good show overall. You know, I woke up a little bit late today, but my buddy's like, hey, did you hear about this Elliot Rodger guy that made a video and shot up a bunch of people at UCSB? So we got into that. And, you know, we're just on top of the news and information. And thanks, everyone, for watching and joining us. And stay tuned next week for a much better show.